demo session for AWS Certified Developer course. I'm Saurabh Mathur. I'm AWS Certified Solution Architect, and I'll be guiding you through this entire course. So as a part of this demo course, we will be looking at the agenda. We will see what we will be covering as a part of this course. We will have a look at a brief background about what is cloud computing and about AWS. And finally, we will go over the AWS console and we'll see some basic services of AWS there. So the first question which comes to our mind is, what is cloud? And what is cloud computing? So in very simple terms, it's nothing but somebody else's computer. There has to be a physical system which you are using. So it's nothing but somebody else's computer which you are using over the network. So what advantages you are getting by doing that is you only pay for what you use and only for the time you use it. You're not paying for the entire system. So that is the basic advantage you get out of cloud computing. So if you're familiar with cloud, or if you know how the pricing model works, you pay as you go. So you pay by hour or by month, and you pay for only what you use. You don't pay for the entire system. So that is the biggest deterrent when you're starting a company. 70% of the cost is the infrastructure cost. So consider a scenario where you are setting up your own company and you need servers, you need to set up the network. There's a lot of manual effort which goes into that. You need to hire people to manage those systems. Now with cloud, you don't need to do that. You can just subscribe to the services on cloud, and you just pay for what you use. You don't have to invest a lot of money upfront. That is the basic advantage you get. So here I have listed a few advantages of cloud computing. Number one is flexibility. See, because of the wide variety of systems available on cloud, you get a lot of flexibility, and there's a lot of choices available of what kind of servers you want, what kind of a memory you want, and what kind of a infrastructure you want. So there's flexibility in that. Disaster recovery. So because you don't have to worry about the infrastructure on premise, this is the infrastructure which is in the cloud. So it's responsibility of the cloud service provider to maintain those servers. And in case of disaster, it is automatically replicated in some of the servers, so you don't have to worry about those aspects. You don't have to worry about updating your software, because that is again the responsibility of the cloud service provider to regularly update. Maybe if it's the antivirus or patches, those updates are taken care by the cloud service provider. Capital expenditure free. So as mentioned earlier, you don't have to invest a lot upfront. Instead, you can focus on the business and just let that be taken care by the cloud. Competitiveness. Now, because cloud is a very evolving market, so whatever is available in the cloud, it has to be competitive, otherwise it will go out of the market. So you can be sure when you are subscribing to something that it is the latest technology available out there. So what are the various market players in the cloud right now? So the biggest one of them is Amazon with 37% market share, and the second is Microsoft Azure or Windows Azure, and there is Google Cloud, and there are some other small players. So these three are the major cloud players as of now, with Amazon as the biggest chunk of the market. So as a part of this training, we will be focusing on the Amazon Web Services. Now, what is AWS? So when did AWS start? So it started in 2006 with IT infrastructure business. Now there's a theory about how AWS started, and it's a very interesting theory, and it says that Amazon, as you all know, is a part of a big e-retailer. It's a big e-commerce company. Now the theory is that during their peak seasons, they used to have a lot of computers or a lot of systems deployed to handle the rush hours during Thanksgiving, Black Fridays, Christmas. But during the rest of the year, those servers or those systems were sitting idle, as were not being used. Somebody came up with an idea, why not rent out these servers, and that's how it all started. But there is no truth in this theory, so it's a myth. So this Amazon Web Services was started with this sole purpose of IT infrastructure business. So it's a myth that it is a myth. All right, so today Amazon Web Services provide highly reliable, scalable, low-cost infrastructure platform in the cloud that powers hundreds of thousands of businesses in 190 countries around the world. All right, now let's have a look at our course content, what we'll be covering as a part of this AWS training. Now this is specifically designed around the AWS developer certification. So all these topics which we cover here are a part of the AWS developer certification. So once you are done with this training, plus some hands-on, you can go ahead and do your Amazon developer certification. So in module 1, we'll cover the AWS Cloud Essentials. We will cover the basic overview of what are the different kinds of services. So basic services offered by AWS can be categorized into compute service, which is nothing but your CPU or your system, which it can be a Windows system or a Linux system. You can choose the operating system, what operating system you want. There is a storage service where you can store your data. There's a database service where you can store your RDBMS table structures. You can create your tables and create your databases. Content delivery service, network services. All right, so this will cover in AWS fundamentals and AWS Cloud Essentials. In module 3, we will cover AWS console. So we will go to the AWS console, see how it looks and feels, and what are the various services listed there, how to use the console, we'll get familiar with it, how to create an account on AWS console, how to log in into the control account, how to browse through various AWS services. We'll see that. In module 4, we will see how AWS maintains high availability. What happens when your server goes down, how it is managed, what happens when your CPU usage goes up. So all those features are available in high availability. So what it basically is, we'll be covering is Elastic Load Balancer, which basically balances the load, and in case of you need more bandwidth, how can you add more servers, auto scaling. We'll cover it, but as a part of this module, reserved instances and placement groups. So there's a feature of where you can reserve instances in advance, where you say that there might be a need. So you can reserve instances in advance. In module 5, we will go for monitoring and metrics, performance and availability. How do you monitor various services running on AWS infrastructure? So you will have various servers running, various databases running. How do you manage and how do you know when something goes wrong? So we will go through Amazon Cloud Watch. How does it work? How do we create various metrics? What are the different metrics available in AWS Cloud Watch, which is inbuilt, and how to create custom metrics, how to create alarms, how to get notified when something goes wrong. So all those comes under module 5, where we'll see how those things goes. Analysis and data management. So we'll see how we store data. So S3 is one of the topics here. S3, earlier it used to be called a simple storage service. Now Amazon has come up with a different definition, and now they call it as scalable storage service. So the acronym or the short form remains the same, it's still called S3, but they have changed the full form. So it's where you can store any kind of data. It can be files, it can be basically anything. It can be a database dump or something like that. So basically, when you are doing a backup kind of a solution, you take backups on S3, which is generally recommended. Other than backups, we'll see what are the different types of volumes available. So volumes are if you are going for a EC2 instance or Elastic Cloud Compute, which we call, or in simple terms, if you are provisioning a Windows system, there will be a hard disk attached to it. Now, hard disk, which we mean like what kind of a hard disk? So there are two options: EBS, which is block storage, and ephemeral storage. The basic difference is ephemeral storage. Once you turn off your system, whatever you have stored will be wiped off. But in elastic block storage, that is persistent storage. So the question might come then, why ephemeral storage at all? So ephemeral storage is used for POCs or short-term duration work. So there might be a lot of companies which they want to do a short-term thing on the cloud. They don't want it long-term. They might want to do a POC where they want to do a setup and just test out, and for one-time thing, they may go for ephemeral storage because it's a lot cheaper. How do we take instance backup? So we have created a Windows machine. How do we take a backup of that machine, which is called Amazon Machine Images? We will see all that in module 6. In module 7, we will see Beanstalk and CloudFormation services. CloudFormation templates. How do we create a CloudFormation templates? Now, basically, this module will talk about if you have to start infrastructure which includes tens of servers with all the connectivity setup, all networking setup, and it's not a single system. So it's a multiple system, multiple networking. You have to make sure the security is right. So doing that manually, and that might be a solution you're offering. So you might need to do it multiple times. So CloudFormation template is the solution where you can automate that. So you create a template in JSON or other language formats, and you launch it, and it will create everything on its own. So we'll see how to do that in module 7. AWS security and networking, we'll see what kind of a security features are offered by AWS. Now, the biggest concern when a client or when a customer goes on the cloud is security, because the major concern is I'm putting something which is on my premises, which is secure. If it's in my office, my servers are in my office, it is secure. But if I'm putting it in the cloud, the general sense is that it's on the internet. So the major concern of the customers is the security, how secure the environment is. So in this module, we'll see what kind of a security options are offered by AWS. How do we configure those security? Now, security is also a shared responsibility model. We'll discuss about that. It's not only the responsibility of AWS, but also the responsibility of the customer, because the customer will have access to the AWS console. Now, it's customer's responsibility that those credentials are not shared, those credentials are given to the right people. Now, on the infrastructure side, it's the responsibility of AWS that nothing goes into the system without authentication. In module 9, we will see big data analytics. So there's a elastic map reduced service of AWS, which allows you to create a big data infrastructure where you can create your big data job. So we'll see how to do that. We'll try to create a sample job and test it out. How does that work? And also we'll cover the best practices and optimization in AWS. One other thing is whatever we do in the console, like launching an instance or creating a S3 bucket, which we can also do it through command line. So we'll also see that in AWS command line interface toolkit. So how to install AWS CLI, what are the simple commands we can try out. So we'll have a look at that. All right, now let's have a look at the console itself and see, just have a look and feel of the console. So just a demo session. So we'll just have a brief look at the console. I'm already logged in. So I'm on the EC2, so I'll go on the services tab. So these are the various kinds of services offered by AWS. So there are various headings which you can see here is compute, storage, database, networking and content delivery, migration developer tools, management tools. So there are a lot of services here. Now, as a part of for the purpose of the certification, you need not know all of them. So we will go over the services which is required for the purpose of the developer certification. If you need any details on any other services, just let me know and we can cover that in detail later. So the basic and the most important of the compute services is EC2, which is called Elastic Compute Cloud. In short form they call it EC2. I'll just click on that and open. So it will open an EC2 dashboard. So this EC2 dashboard will give you an overview of what is running. So it says 0 running instances because I'm not running anything right now. Dedicated hosts, volumes. Volume is nothing but, in simple terms, hard disks. So I have one hard disk. Key pair is something which you'll use to connect to your system for the first time. You can use it for the next time also, but it is generally given to you one time so that you can connect to your instance which you are provisioning. We'll go into the details in our detailed session. So there are a lot of things which you see on the left hand side here which are very much related to EC2 instances. So these are just instances, stop request, preserved instances, scheduled instances. So you can schedule an instance to run at a particular time. AMIs is Amazon Machine Image. So you can take a backup of a running instance and create an AMI so that when your system goes down, you can bring up your system using that AMI and it will bring up an exact image of your system at the time which the image was taken. So it will have all the software installed, all the configurations. So it will be an exact image of your running system. Now these are the elastic block storage volumes and snapshots. Snapshots is again a backup of your volumes that you can take. Networking and security. What kind of a security is around the EC2 instance? Load balancing. If we are doing any load balancing, auto scaling. So all this is related to your high availability, load balancing, auto scaling. So we will go over these details when we go in the actual session. I'll just click on running instances. All right, so you see one instance which is in stop state. Now it's very important that we stop the instance when we are not using it as a part of the demo also, because Amazon charges you when you are running something. Now, this particular instance is or AMI is a free version, so even if it is running, I won't be charged anything. But in case you are using a paid AMI, then you need to make sure if you are not using it, stop it if you don't need it, so that you do stop getting charged. So as a part of this AWS exercise, all of you will be required to create your demo accounts or the free tier accounts, which is a 12-month free trial given by Amazon. You will need a credit card, so you'll need to put your credit card information while enrolling into that. It will deduct a sum of 2 rupees, or if you are in US, it will deduct $1, I guess, and it will confirm that the credit card is valid, so that if you are being charged, you are directly charged on your credit card. So I'll just show you how to launch an instance. We will not launch it exactly. Now when I click on launch, it gives me various options. Now because we are doing we are not doing an actual project here, I recommend that we click this checkbox which says free tier only, so that it shows me only the available options which are there, which offers a free version of the software or of the system. So we see where there's a Linux AMI, there's a Red Hat Linux, there is a C Linux, there's a Ubuntu Microsoft Server 2016, there's a Windows Server. So there are a lot of options I can choose from, and I'll say select. I can select anything. Now when I select that, it again gives me various options of the type of system. So these are the acronyms used for the system type: T2 Nano, T2 Micro. Now under T2 Micro, I see that it's free tier eligible. So I need to make sure that when launching, this is there. Otherwise, all these are chargeable. All others are chargeable. So there's a T2 small, T2 large. Now these are types of servers depending on the memory and system configuration. So you see there are a lot of things available here. Now, yeah, these SSD is the ephemeral storage, solid state drives, and these are EBS, elastic block storage. So some of them are available with SSD, some of them are available with EBS. So these options are here. So it shows what is the performance, low to moderate, moderate, high. So for the purpose of training, we will use T2 micro, and we will say next, and we will put all these details. We'll see them in detail when we actually do it. VPC is basically a virtual private cloud. It gives you an IP range within which your servers will be launched and things like that. We will go into the details later. So I'm not launching it right now. I just cancel it. All right. So if, below in this window, I see the various properties of this particular instance, when it was started, what are the network interfaces attached, what is the VPC, what is the private IP. Private IP means the IP which I can use to connect it from the internet. It's currently stopped state, things like that. I can start it if I want. I can go to actions and instance state. I can say start, and this instance will start again. All right, so this is it about the demo class. We will go into the details of each topic, probably 1.5 to 2 hours session on each topic. We'll have hands-on wherever required. Some of the topics are theoretical. We'll have those topics, and some of the topics we'll have are demo classes, or we'll have hands-on. So looking forward to meet you all on those demo classes. Thank you.